The 4 biggest signs that your manifestation is on the way. Thank you so much for watching my channel. And today I want to really dive deeply into these 4 things because there are some things that you may be thinking of already that's popping up in your mind, but there are definitely some parts of this video that I didn't realize was happening until later, until the manifestation got here, right? Hindsight is 2020. So the first thing that happened to me, which helped me know today why my manifestation is on the way, was chaos. Quite frankly, just chaos. It was just wild. So what happened is I taught, right? I was a teacher. I was an elementary school teacher. And I was like, I don't want to do this as much as I love them kids. But I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to work for somebody else. It just wasn't my thing. Quite frankly, I'm not a good worker. I'm just not. I was late, I gave them my best when I was there, okay? I didn't play with them, with my kids, but I knew that they probably deserved better. So I always told myself, like, I'm only doing this for 2 years and I'm going to come up with a hustle. At that time, it was real estate. I was like, you couldn't tell me I was not going to be a real estate mogul. So at this time, I'm like 22, 23, very naive. And I quit my job, kind of. I kind of got demoted, but I don't care how much, little money I have or how much money I have, you're not going to demote me and me just stay. So I was like, oh, it is what it is. So I left after that. And then I roamed the wilderness for about 3 years after that. I was broke, behind on rent. It was a whole lot of chaos. And prior to me leaving my job, I told myself, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I'm supposed to be doing well. I wasn't doing well in real estate. I'm supposed to be just living my dreams. And I'm like, what is this the American dream? Like, I'm trying to go after my dream. I'm living uptown. I'm living in Washington Heights. For those of you guys who don't know what that is, it's right on top of Harlem. So I'm doing the thing, and I'm just a Long Island suburban girl, and I'm coming out here living my dreams after college. And I was like, you know what, Alyssa? This is going to be our master's degree of hard knocks, okay? Because I didn't want to run home with my tail tucked. I didn't care to just get like sympathy because I was going through some things, but it was tough. So there was so much chaos during that time. And I think that's the number one indicator that your manifestation is on the way. Things are falling apart. Sometimes, like, no matter how hard you try, they're just going to keep falling apart and keep falling apart. And that's how you know, like, yeah, I'm destined for something else, right? And that brings me into space number 2. This is the number 2 reason why you know your manifestation is on the way. And chaos precedes this second number, all right? Or the second rule as to why you know manifestation is on the way. So for me, I started asking myself like the big questions, like the whys, like, what am I here for? What is this right now? Like, what is this body? Like, what is, I have fingers? Like, why am I even here? Like, what has been put down on the inside of me that I'm supposed to really be doing? How am I supposed to live out my purpose and go after my passion? I'm like, I don't know what my passion is. I don't know how to go out there. They just make it seem so easy, right? In this generation, like, oh, just get on Instagram, get on YouTube, and you'll blow up. And I was like, yeah, it ain't working for me like that. So I just really asked myself those questions. And don't think it's a one-time thing. You're going to continually go back to that point where you keep asking yourself those questions. So when you're finding all hell is breaking loose, there's chaos, and you're asking yourself those big questions. And I want to say this. Don't put that level of pressure on you to have the answers, because you don't have the answers, Sway. You don't have them, right? Like, you have to allow God, you have to allow the Most High to unveil those answers to you as you continue this faith walk, right? And that brings me into number 3, because, all right, I think we're about to have 5 or 6 things. I don't know. But that brings me into number 3, because you're going to be, like I said, I was wandering the wilderness, right? Asking myself these big questions like, why am I broke? Why this? Well, you quit your damn job and you got demoted. That's why you're broke. But I also had a resistance to going back to work. I had just a little bit of money saved, and then, oh, hell broke loose, with the rent piece. So, I don't even want to think about it. But it was faith. I had to walk by faith, not by sight at the time. So I think that's one of the biggest things is, too, number 3, when you are being called to walk a certain path, but you don't even know where you're going. You don't even know, like, you don't even know the destination. You're just blindly walking. And I think that's exactly where you need to be to have a blessing, right? When you're just blindly walking, no destination, you don't know what the hell you're doing, but you followed some strong inclination. Just like I followed that strong inclination when I left work. I'm like, yeah, nah, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. That's one thing about me. I think I saw a quote sometimes. I was like, I bring a I don't give a fuck kind of attitude or kind of morale to the workspace, right? Like, go and fire me, or, you know, it is what it is. I'll figure it out. You know, I kind of have that kind of attitude. I think it helped, but it also is like a double-edged sword. So don't be too much like that. But you do need a little bit of that in you to take a big leap of faith, right? I'm not telling anybody to quit their job, because that was, if I could have done it differently, I probably wouldn't have, because I wouldn't be where I am today, which I'm very pleased with the life that I've created for myself. But just hold on, it's getting there. I gotta set the stage, right? Let me cook. I gotta set the stage first. So back to the point of like having faith and taking that big leap of faith, right? So I talked about chaos, all hell is breaking loose, pretty much like not working anymore. I'm asking myself these big questions. Why? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Why do I have hands? I'm just asking myself all these questions because I have nothing else but to ask questions at this point. And then thirdly, I had to use faith because I had nothing else. And I think that's also a prime position for a blessing, right? So after that point, I still had the chaos in my life. Remember, this is like a 3-year journey. I still had the chaos going on in my life, still broke. But I also had an odd sense of calm that it was all going to be okay. So there's a part of my brain that was just overly stimulated, so stressed, like my hair fell out, everything. It's just starting to come back. But it's like I had an odd sense of calm within the chaos, if that makes sense. So I think that's also another way that you know your manifestation is on the way. And these are not me just saying these things because it sounds popular or it sounds like the right thing to say. It's actually exactly what happened to me before I had a big change in my life. So if you're looking for that big change in your life, understand you got to do something drastic. All right. Maybe not as drastic as me, but it does require you to move. You have to move. And you know exactly what that is. Nobody has to tell us. You know what it is. So back to the story. So yeah, things weren't working out, but I still had that odd sense of calm. Now, during this time, you know how you and your friends, you send each other stuff on Instagram, send each other stuff all the time, or WhatsApp, whatever. So my friend, she sent me a tarot reading, a zodiac reading. And I was like, this is cool. So it was just so interesting to me. So I got into it. I started watching it a lot. And then a year and a half later, I was like, let me just make my own tarot channel. And it was a lot of fun. And I still do it to this day. But that was really how I came out of this rut. It provided for me abundantly and exceedingly the way that I went about it, right? I don't know about other people who start YouTube, but the way that I did, the way I structured my situation, it provided for me way more than what I was making on a teacher salary. So I was like, oh shit. This was the first time I felt like I had real money. So I'm like, what? I'm like, what is happening here? So I was just so grateful. And it happened so randomly. If you would have told me 10 years ago, oh, listen, you're going to do astrology on YouTube, I'm like, what are you talking about? That's what. But lo and behold, Alyssa was doing astrology, dealing them cards on YouTube, and I still do. So that was really what gave me my big break financially. I felt so much more confident. I felt so much more capable, and the decision I made to leave my job was right. My journey is not going to look like your journeys. Everyone's journey is very individual, very unique. So don't look for it to be a cookie cutter situation, but there are some overall principles that will mirror each other's journey or other people's journey. So I'm making money for the first time. So I leave my apartment and then I go nomadic. So I visited maybe about 9-10 countries within a year and a half. I stayed sometimes a month, sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but it was just a wonderful experience, right? And I don't know. I still to this day, I'm even just talking about it because it's my first time really making a video speaking on this. I'm just really moved because I'm like, wow, it was just so different for me though. 3, 4, 5 years ago, so different for me than the life that I've provided for myself today. So I just want you guys to continue to have faith, and don't be afraid to take a leap, even if you don't know why, what that whisper is, because it's going to whisper, but it's not going to bully you, right? And I think I talked about intuition versus fear. Your intuition, your spirit with on the inside of you is not going to bully you, but it also will never be quiet. It will never leave you alone. And I always knew I was destined for an entrepreneurship journey. It's had its highs and lows. I'm not about to sit here and act like I'm just rolling in dough and everything's perfect. Absolutely not. Has its highs and lows, but there's no other life that fits Alyssa better than the one that I've curated for myself. And that right there is its own source of empowerment for me. So that was like my manifestation finally coming around full circle. I'm able to take care of myself. I'm traveling and I'm doing all that stuff. So I want you guys to remember, when you're going on your journey, when you start your journey wherever you are, and when I say your journey, I mean your journey to that big thing that you want, that manifestation you want to come true, that job you want, that location you want, that career you want, that man you want, that woman you want. When you start that journey, understand that a lot of times it's kicked off by chaos and things just not working out. So don't shy away from that. Like, I want you guys to celebrate those moments. I wish I was just thinking the other day, I was like, Alyssa, you stressed yourself out. When I'm telling you the whole crown of my head was missing, my hair was falling out. I was under so much stress. I had anxiety. I wasn't sleeping well. And this is for years. And I'm still, through breath work and affirmations and morning rituals and things like that, I'm getting myself, back right. But if I could change anything in retrospect, it would be how much I stressed. So I want you guys to don't go through it like that. Almost have this sense of celebration while your life is falling apart. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's the best time to celebrate, right? Because this is an optimal time for you to be blessed, is in the dark, when you can't see, when you don't know. So whatever you believe in, your ancestors, the Most High, God, Allah, understand that they do want to bless you. God wants to bless you. The universe is waiting for you to make some sort of move to signal to them, like, yeah, I'm right here. Come and take care of this, please. So that's like my biggest takeaway. If I would have changed anything on that journey, everything else is just now fun and I could laugh at it, even though there were some definite stressful times. But that's the biggest takeaway, is don't stress yourself out so much. Your bills are paid. You got a roof over your head. Maybe you're not as abundant or able to move around as freely as you'd like to, but those things come. Like, don't think that just because it's not coming when you think it's supposed to come, that it's not going to come. And that leads me to my next point. I thought if my real estate career would have worked out when I was 22, 23, I would have lost the house with how wildly I was spending my money. If I had the spending habits that I had, like even a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, when I was just traveling, and I had that same mindset when I owned this property at 23 years old, if I was given that, I would have absolutely probably lost the house, went to foreclosure. Now I'm in the negatives. Now I got to file bankruptcy. Like, I'm so grateful what I was protected from at that time. And it's like, I always remember to myself, be grateful about the things that you're protected from, but also be mindful of the things that work out that are good, right? Because it has a way of like seducing you into keeping this going, even if it's not for you. So things shouldn't always work out. That's not always a great sign, especially and only if you feel like you're destined for more, or you feel like you're destined for bigger or different, right? So again, if you want that big move, that certain man, that certain woman, you have to make a huge shift within yourself. And I think when I look back at my journey, the shift that happened for me was I had to I was such a over planner. I need everything perfect. But when you don't have money, you don't have any choice but to live day by day. I can't think about next week because my roof is missing. I'm low on edges. All I got is a nape. You know what I'm saying? So it's like your nape is gonna be missing if you think about next week. So I had to take precaution. So I'm telling you, like, that stress will kill you. Like, you cannot be stressing like that. So it's like, if I was to be more understanding and more, I guess, rooted in my and the fact that I'm always protected and that I do not walk alone, I think that the journey would have been much more joyous. And I think what it changed in me, or what I learned day by day, was to release it. And I know that's such an overused term, but give it all to God, give it all to the universe. It's going to work out. You keep your integrity with you. You keep your morals intact. You keep doing things out of the kindness of your heart, and remove yourself sometimes when you can't do things out of kindness of your heart and you're bothered or you're triggered by people. That's also a way to show self-love and love to others. So what I'm saying, the things that you can control, try to do your best at that, even if you can only control your attitude, right? And those things really created such great character in me. I was always a woman of, I like to think, as like, who had a strong moral compass and a woman of character, but something about being broke will really do something to your spirit that nothing else can do. You know, I almost think that everybody should be broke. And that was like my first time, because I'm not used to that. That was very new for me, you know? So, and maybe that's another reason why I was chilling a little bit too, because I'm like, yeah, nah, I can't live like this. That's not my birthright. I didn't come here to sit in a place of scarcity. That's not what my portion is. And I'm not going to pretend like it's all good and that's okay. Like, nah, we're getting ourselves out of the situation. So whatever it is that you have to do, if you're trying to manifest a certain kind of lover, a certain kind of woman or man, are you a vibrational match to that? Right? Because you have to be a match to these kinds of things that we're asking to bring in. So again, how it relates to my story is, I always knew that I would be well off financially, right? And I'm still on my journey, not where I want to be, but I'm doing okay. You know, I got a roof over my head, which is great. My bills are paid, most of them. But like, you know, you have to ask yourself, what is it that I need to change within me to be able to match with the reality of what I want? You can't talk about all men ain't shit and all women ain't shit and expect your queen to pull up on you, or expect your king to pull up on you. You are a complete vibrational mismatch when you speak so negatively about men or women. And I would challenge you to ask yourself, wait, how do I speak about myself? How do I feel about myself? And I understand too, our experiences are formed, or our thoughts and our mind and our beliefs are formed by our experiences. So that's fair. I get why you might have a pretty grim outlook on certain things, whether it's career, life, lovers, but you also have to understand that it's you who has to change that. Because once I became playful, once I became less fearful, or because I was always scared. So don't think that fear is going to leave, because it's not. At least it did for me, and I'm scared to this day. But like, fear doesn't really leave, but it's what you do in spite of the fear. And I think what I did in spite of the fear during my downtime was have a sense of calm, and that helped me be a vibrational match to something as simple as creating a YouTube channel and it taking off, and it took off pretty quickly. Let me know down below if you guys want to hear about that journey, if you're interested. But yeah, it took off pretty quickly, and that wasn't by accident. That was because once I started doing this, I just felt so good. Keyword felt. If you're not feeling good, if you're not in a space where you have to feel your way to a manifestation. You can't think your way to it, right? So if you're into affirmations and manifestations, you know that feeling is the prime driver behind what brings a manifestation to you. So when you say your affirmations, you can't say I am beautiful. You have to say I am beautiful. Like, you have to feel that within your spirit. It's almost like you have to summon that. Like words are spells. You have to summon this. Like, you can really shift your reality when you are trying to bring things into fruition, and it's the most beautiful thing. So I'm just telling you guys all these things. Sorry for all that noise. I'm telling you guys all these things because I want you to realize that you're much more in control than you think you are, right? When you're doing your work and you're working with the Most High, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. Nothing is going to stop you. Nothing will get in the way of your success. Only you. There's no coincidence that when my mind started to change was when I started to see manifestations pop up around me. I've always wanted to travel the world. I've always wanted to have impact on YouTube for years, when I was like a teenager. So it's not a coincidence that it's happened the way it's happened. And when it happened, because I was also a vibrational mismatch for a while, because I had probably thoughts of lack, thoughts that just didn't quite gel with the life that I wanted to create for myself. So now that I'm in a more abundant frame, wonderful things enter into my reality all the time. So I just want you guys to remember that that is possible for you. I'm not special. There's nothing particularly different about me than it is you. You are me and I am you. That's just what it is. Like, we're all reflections of each other. So don't ever look at somebody else and be like, damn, don't do that. Celebrate that. Because when you start to see other people around you, and this is my way. I said 4 signs. I put probably about 12. The 12th sign of manifestation is when you see other people around you getting things and you're not, you need to celebrate. And I know sometimes there's envy, there's jealousy, because you feel like you have better character, you have higher morality, and they're getting blessed. Damn, why are they getting blessed? But no, celebrate. Because that energy of celebration is the universe is like, oh, she's celebrating or he's celebrating. Let me give her more to celebrate about. That's the language. You have to speak that language and talk that talk so you can walk that walk. So don't make light of your feelings. Tap in. Now, if there's anything in this video that you want me to go further into, like my YouTube channel or more on manifestation, let me know. My channel is still a little baby. So the best thing that you guys could do for me is subscribe, but only if you want to engage with my content. I'm much for quality over quantity. I don't want people here just watching, and not applying. Let me know that you apply this stuff, because that's the kind of people I want, because I have a lot of really big plans for this channel. So if this video has helped you in any way, guys, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will be talking to you soon. Mwah.